Okay, let's get real for a second and talk about the ultimate enemy. Homework that is just super boring. You know what I'm talking about. That huge history chapter, those math problems that make your brain want to shut down. We've all been there. But what if I told you there's a way to actually conquer it? Not just get it done, but actually master the whole process. All right, let's dive in.
Does this sound familiar? You open your textbook, you stare at the first question, and all of a sudden, cleaning your room, organizing your apps by color, or maybe just staring at a speck of dust on the wall seems like the most exciting thing in the entire world. Yeah, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place.
And this is the first thing you absolutely have to understand. This is not about you. You are not lazy, you're not broken. Your brain is just an incredibly smart machine that is literally hardwired to run away from boring stuff and run towards interesting stuff. And the best part? We can actually learn how to hack that wiring.
So if we're going to win this battle, we first have to understand our opponent. And in this case, the opponent is your own brain's natural instincts. Let's break down what is actually going on inside your head when you see that pile of homework. Okay, so here it is, the main event. On one side, you've got all the fun stuff, right? Gaming, scrolling on your phone. They give you an instant reward, a quick hit of fun. And on the other side, you've got homework. The reward for that, a good grade, is way off in the future. So, when given the choice, which one do you think your brain is going to pick every single time? Yeah, it's going to go for that instant win.
The easiest way to think about it is this. That part of your brain is basically a little kid. And that little kid doesn't care about a good report card in 6 weeks. It wants the fun, the excitement, the good feelings right now. So instead of trying to fight it head on, we've got to learn how to be the smart parent in the room and guide it.
And that brings us to our first major power-up. This is all about changing the way you think about the work itself. This isn't about pretending you love something you hate. Nope, it's about changing its purpose in your mind. This is where you really start to take back control.
This right here is the most important switch you can flip. The story you tell yourself in your head. It changes everything. Every time you think, ugh, this is so boring, I hate this, you're making it harder on yourself. But if you can consciously, intentionally switch that thought to, okay, this is building my future, you're changing the entire game. You're no longer the victim of a boring task. You're the architect of your own future.
And think of it like this. Every single time you force yourself to do a boring assignment, you are doing a rep at the gym for your discipline muscle. And yeah, it's a real thing. Just like lifting weights, it's going to feel hard at first, but the more you train it, the stronger and more powerful you get.
So what's the difference between motivation and discipline? Well, this quote says it all perfectly. Motivation is that spark, that exciting feeling you get when you start something new, but it's unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline. Discipline is the engine that carries you across the finish line, especially when that feeling is long gone.
Okay, so the mindset stuff is absolutely crucial, but let's be honest, sometimes you just need a simple trick to get the engine started. This next part is your personal toolkit for hacking that moment of resistance when you'd rather do anything else.
So what is with the giant number 5? Well, this represents what might be the single greatest anti-procrastination hack ever created. It's called the 5-minute rule, and it's so simple. You just commit to working on that thing you're avoiding for only 5 minutes. That's it, just 5. And here's why this little trick is so powerful. The hardest part of anything is just starting, right? The idea of studying for 2 hours feels huge and awful. But working on it for 5 minutes? Come on, anybody can do something for 5 minutes. It takes all the pressure off. And you know what usually happens? Once you get started, you build a little momentum, and it suddenly feels so much easier to just keep going. Here's another awesome technique for those bigger projects. Don't think about it as one giant 2-hour study session. No way. Break it down into chunks. Work for 20 minutes. Then, and this is important, take a short break. Get up, stretch, do something fun. Then you repeat. Your brain loves finishing things, and this gives it a bunch of small, easy wins to keep it happy.
So we've covered the mindset, we've got the quick tricks to get started. Now let's talk about the long game. This is how you turn these little actions into a genuine, life-changing superpower. This is how discipline stops being something you force and starts being a part of who you are.
You can also just make the work itself, well, suck a little less. Try putting on some instrumental music, no lyrics. Or take your work to a different room, or maybe the library. You can even turn it into a game. How many of these can I finish in 15 minutes? Go! And tracking your progress on a piece of paper gives you a real visual of how much you're accomplishing. It all helps.
This is basically brain training 101. You just have to bribe yourself. Seriously, tell yourself, okay, after I finish this chapter, then I get to watch an episode of my favorite show. By connecting the boring work to something you actually love, you slowly start to teach your brain that doing the hard stuff leads directly to a reward.
So let's just be crystal clear about what we're really building here. Discipline isn't about feeling motivated. It's not about waiting for inspiration to strike. It's simpler and harder than that. It is the choice to do what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. It's about letting your goals, not your feelings, drive your actions.
And this, honestly, is the big secret that separates people who achieve amazing things from people who just talk about them. Nobody feels motivated all the time. Not athletes, not artists, not anyone. The most successful people have built systems and habits. They rely on their discipline to make sure they show up and do the work, whether they feel like it or not.
So I'm going to leave you with this. Remember that all those boring little moments, finishing that essay, studying for that test, practicing that one skill over and over, they aren't just a waste of time. They're the building blocks. They are the price you pay today for a future where you have more options, more freedom, and a much more exciting life. So my question to you is, what boring task are you going to conquer today?